Okay, let's do Friday feedback. And many of you wrote to me and said, David, what is Friday feedback going to be like this week after what happened last week and going through the hate mob that came after you? Well, I'm not going to make this all negative. There were tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of disgusting hate messages, including many anti-Semitic. But what I do want to tell you is that there is a movement that is insisting there were no such hate messages. There were no anti-Semitic messages or anything. And you can sometimes see them quite literally next to anti-Semitic messages. For example, user Shane used the anti-Semitic meme 6 million, which of course relates to the 6 million Jews killed in the Holocaust. And they love to reference like should have been more or whatever, right? 6 million. So this is another one of these anti-Semitic messages next to a message that says, there's not a hate mob after you. There are just thousands of individual people that heard your comments and found them disgusting. Really? And why does that then necessitate making horrible comments about the Holocaust? It's sort of difficult to understand. But many other fascinating messages on the substance of preventing mass shootings and reducing gun violence. We got a great comment on YouTube, which reads, David, as a veteran of law enforcement myself and gun-owning individual, while also being a Christian father of two, don't let Republicans drag you down the rabbit hole. They intend you to do so when engaging you. Your list of 10 is quite honestly very good. These are 10 policies to reduce gun violence I laid out. What I would add is specifically a sliding scale fee and structure that low-income Americans do not get financially discriminated against when following the list of 10. So this might be the training scales for the cost of training and licensing scales for income. I think I get the idea, and a very interesting idea for sure. Henman left a message and says, David, I'm a rock solid centrist with not much of an appreciation for left or right, but you are one of the very few leftist commentators I watch consistently because of your balanced, calm, collected demeanor when tackling subjects. Hold fast against the fascist hordes of Republicans and their extended members. We're behind you all the way to defend your free speech, not right-wing defined free speech. I mean freedom of speech in the traditional sense of the word before it was hijacked by the right. All the best, with much love for the UK. Thank you. And lots of Brits, by the way, weighing in recently, which I very, very much appreciate. Sheriel said, by going after you, they move the target off of them for doing absolutely nothing to stop this horrible epidemic. That only happens in our country. Bless you, David. I'm so sorry you're having to go through this. Yeah. There must not be anything we can do to stop the scourge of gun violence. Say people in the only country where this is regularly happening. Are we really that willing to give up without trying almost anything? It's really pathetic. On the issue of thoughts and prayers, very interesting comment. This is Riley. The congressional chaplain said it was time for more than thoughts and prayers. Does he get threatened? You're in the right, David. Yeah. And in fact, what's been really interesting since the blow up last week is that all sorts of the prayers aren't enough. Did they not pray correctly or hard enough sort of stuff? Dozens at least of relatively prominent people made similar statements. There was one in the Boston Globe and others. None of them generated any controversy. Okay, then we're moving on to some other issues. Jason commented on Facebook, David Underwear Pakman. I don't even know what that means. Instead of reviewing polls, maybe you should look at the actual statistics of illegal immigrants crossing the border. Why do they always put the wrong border? Border like a boarding house rather than the US-Mexico border. Jason says, it's in the millions and the highest ever because of Biden's policies. How can you even try to defend this topic? There is no border, again, wrong border, B-O-A-R-D-E-R, but merely a fading line in the sand. Remember, a couple things on that. Number one, they are stopping people from coming in. Oh, the border is clearly open because of all the people that Border Patrol is stopping. Wait, so it must be closed then because they're stopping people. That's number one. Number two, we know a lot about the surge of attempts under Joe Biden. It started to increase under Trump as COVID waned, mobility resumed, and people started again trying to come over the border in greater numbers. They act like we don't know that there are simple explanations for most of these things. Let's now go to the subreddit. L Deuce T wrote, Marjorie Taylor Greene says we need more good guys with guns. I think she's right. But how do you become a good guy with a gun? Introducing the good guy with a gun certificate. Pass the mental assessment. Pass the background check. Pass the gun safety course. Congratulations, you're now a certified good guy with a gun. Now, of course, I would go further. You get yourself the required, the liability insurance that should be required in order to have firearms. You are regularly retested and undergo regular psych evals. You are limited in terms of high capacity magazines based on your age. It's quite an extensive list. But certainly we are nowhere near that at this point in time. Continuing to talk about firearms, this is an interesting message. Question from a non-American. Why are Americans so obsessed with guns? Why do you need them? And why are some of you against restrictions? Some people don't even acknowledge the problem. I mean, what do you expect? There have been more mass shootings than days in 2023. So what can be done? Arm teachers, as was proposed? Blame things that have nothing to do with it? Trans people, video games, porn, etc.? Or ban on some kind of weapons like assault weapons? Yeah, this person got downvoted down into a hole in the ground. But they're absolutely right. And it's interesting. There are right-wing pro-gun people who bristle at the idea that sissy Europeans might tell us what to do with guns. Well, we should look at it a different way. We should say people from countries that don't have this epidemic of gun violence are shocked and horrified by what's happening in the United States. Maybe we should consider whether they have something to offer. And this is part of the problem, as when I was on the PBD program, Patrick Bet-David's podcast, and I explained, under Trump, global opinion of the US and of the presidency was in the toilet. And the response when they can no longer deny the facts is to say, why do we care what other countries think of us? If other countries don't like us, if other countries are scared of us, that means we're doing the best possible thing we can for Americans. And of course, that's obviously not the case insofar as we live in a globalized world. We're not this isolated country. We're not an island economically and literally, we're not an island. We actually do depend on other countries for so many things. And so this idea of what do we care what they think, it's predominantly an idea on the right, and it's extraordinarily short-sighted. And unfortunately, that's the issue, right? Oh my God, look, someone from a country that has no gun violence has the audacity to say, what the hell is wrong with you people in the US? Yeah, that should really make you think, oh, wow, you mean this is optional? It doesn't have to be like this? Give me a break, guys. All right. And then more superficially, there was a poll done on our subreddit. What's your favorite nickname for Ron DeSantis? The options were Ron DeSanctimonious, Tiny D, Meatball Ron, Gay Ron, which I don't even understand, Deep State Ron, or something else. Overwhelmingly, our Reddit audience prefers Meatball Ron as the name for Ron DeSantis. I have to tell you, I don't really love it. And I know that Ron DeSanctimonious is a problem because many Republicans wouldn't know how to spell sanctimonious nor what it means. So that one's problematic. I still like wrong DeSantis. Wrong DeSantis, but it's a little tough to say. Open to ideas. This guy may not even end up running. So let's wait and see before we subject him to a permanent nickname. All right. Keep those messages coming. You can email info@davidpakman.com. You might post to the subreddit and it could end up on Friday Feedback. You might make a comment on YouTube or send a tweet or, God forbid, make a Facebook comment. Any of these things could end up with you in Friday Feedback. We have a tremendous bonus show for you today. I will be away the next few days and be back with you next Friday. We will have a mix of guest hosts, including producer Pat and others. I think people will like it. If you hate all of the guest hosts, you'll be furious. If you like one of the guest hosts, hopefully there will be a little something for everyone next week. All right, everybody. So I'll see you then. On to the bonus show. Onward and upward.